Hello and welcome everybody. How is everybody doing tonight? And welcome to the H&M show. I am Michael. I know you only see me. That's all you see tonight is just me. Sorry. Heather could not make it. She's on a sabbatical or whatever she's doing. I don't know what she's doing. Who knows what she's doing? But anyway, hey, every week though, I always she asks me. She says, "Hey, what does H&M stand for?" This week it's about home and customizing with a little bit of pixel and stuff like that, and mayhem. Okay, we're going to have some mayhem because it's going to be a cool show tonight. Most of you know probably already because I've advertised it. Scott Peachey is here in the house with me. I'll introduce him in just a second. But I wanted to just say thank you to everybody, and it is Thanksgiving, and I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being great people coming out and watching the show and things like that. I'm thankful to have you. I'm thankful to have my guest tonight. And without further ado, shall we get right to it? Let's get right to it. I'm going to introduce them. Scott Peachey, because you brought a friend with you.
I did. We were just talking while we were on meeting. He's like, yeah, right.
We got Scott Peachey and Greg. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're
I feel.
Scott, with technically speaking, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Technically speaking, we're both from the same place.
There you go. Oh, are you kidding me? It's my absolute pleasure. I love having you guys on. I really enjoy watching your show. Tell them when your show's on. Give them a little bit of hint there too. Let's get into that a little bit.
We do content. At this point, we're doing kind of content randomly throughout the week. We typically shoot for a Sunday release for all of our weekly videos, but we do a live show every Friday, usually at 7:30. We'll call it around about that. Sometimes we back it up to 6, depending on our real-world schedules, but we try really hard to be consistent and shoot for 7:30 p.m. Eastern every Friday. We do a live tech show. Basically, it's just an excuse for Scott and I to argue about technology. And boy, we do really argue.
You guys, I have to admit, you guys really do. But it's fun though. It's so awesome because you know what? You get to hear different perspectives too. And a lot of your people that come on the show or in the audience and stuff, they bring up some good points and good questions too that you guys add to it, embellish with it, and I think that's really, really cool. So
that's probably one of my most favorite parts is obviously like when we first got started with the live shows, it took a moment to kind of get them to roll because there was a lot of banter back and forth with us, and we played with a ton of different ideas. You guys, some of the early stuff that we were doing, we made up games, this, that, and the other.
Right.
Just so fun, kind of knew who we were on a more personal level, and we might bring that back. But honestly, we've had so many topics plus a tremendous amount of audience participation, which
the Q&A stuff.
I love that stuff. That's great.
I agree with you. Well, you know what? It's better than just, to me, it's better than just talking heads getting up there and just talking. Exactly. When you involve them and you bring the comments on. Speaking of comments, I'm going to bring them up right now on screen. We have a bunch of people out here that are joining us, so I like to always bring them in and talk to them. We have Andrew Hatchett's here. Greg, I see you left a comment in the audience. I guess you're here too, and that's true. Mark Barris, Scott, Thomas Lingle. We got Arthur Moorhead's here. Let's see who else. Oh my goodness, this is great. Having a good little crowd here. Russ Worthington came in. Richard Clarkson. Got a bunch of people. I don't mean to leave anybody out there, folks, but I do want to say. Oh, and Miss Sheila. Miss Sheila. Did you notice how I left that to last? But I wanted to just that's right there.
So full disclosure, Miss Sheila, I have to come clean. We did not eat the ribs yet. What we ended up doing is we decided that we are going to do a Friendsgiving. So tomorrow we're actually going to be going over to their house with Greg, his wife, and his kids, letting all the kids play together, and then we're going to eat the ribs. However, in fairness, the mustard slaw didn't make it.
No,
we had to break into that one. We got into that so fast.
Also, I'm really excited about the fact that we have video proof now. You called me a friend, so that's archived for posterity forever. Like, you can never deny it ever again.
Michael, you know what to do with this archive.
it must be,
You know what to do.
you can promote it.
For some reason, the sound messed up during that part. But anyway.
Oh, it's a different mistake. Did you know? Gee.
No, guys.
Good.
Hey, look, we're going to talk Pixel tonight. Folks, you're here to listen about Pixel. These guys, Scott is definitely a Pixel top contributor. And, Scott, you can touch on that and then go right into the Pixel right after that. And you guys, listen, whatever you want to talk about, Pixel books, Pixel phones, Pixel whatever. Just find a Pixel, Pixie sticks, whatever. I don't care. I'm happy with whatever you decide. So take it away, dude.
All right, cool. So I'm going to steal the show momentarily.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's all about me. Let's just be real.
That.
Only because I want to talk about the top contributor program. I have been a top contributor with Google for, oh boy, it's been multiple years at this point, because I met Michael initially 2 years ago, I think, in Cali, at the very first top contributor summit that I ever went to. And that was a really, really interesting one. And they kind of did that same thing this year, where they had like the live translation with some folks wearing some earbuds when they had come over from another country. Super cool concept. It was really, really cool. You could see that it was working. They each had their own individual pods. It was very much like the UN. It was really interesting. It's like,
what a reference.
well, think about it. Like, the UN have their own individual pods. So, I mean, Google spared no expense. So if you have any interest, you do not have to be an expert at all. You just have to have the desire to help people. Honestly, being a top contributor is one of the best things I've ever done. I can also say that has helped from like a YouTube perspective for me, because I know who to talk to in terms of getting some of my queries answered. That's a big thing. It's like, Google seems like this big, huge, monstrous machine that's moving. And honestly, the top contributor program has really done a good job of putting like a face and a name to some of those things. They're super approachable people. They really, really are.
You've said you've always had good things to say about the TC program.
Yeah, I've never
you've done it for a couple of years, and like the day that you got into it, you're like, dude, you got to get on this. Like, you've been trying to talk me into it for a long time.
Yeah, more than a year at this point, and Michael can attest to it too. It's probably one of the most rewarding things, because there are those situations like on the Pixel and Nexus side of the thing, we get a lot of the hardware. Yeah. So it's when somebody has like a massive hardware failure, they're coming to us and they're basically at their wit's end. They're angry, they're sad, they're frustrated, whatever it is. And they're coming to us with these questions like, dear God, can you help me rescue my phone? Now, full disclosure, I don't know what I would do without this. So I get it. Like if I go out to a perfect stranger and like, dear God, stranger with awesome beard, can you help me? And then you're like, yes, I can. Watch this beard. And you fix my phone. Then I'm going to say you're the greatest ever. And we do get those situations where they say like, oh my God, thank you so much. I had photos from like my wedding or my child's birth, and you've basically given me that access to do it. It is one of the most rewarding things. But counterpoint to that is those are probably 1 or 2 out of 10. A lot of the other time it's they're just people not so happy. They just want to go out and Google. So you learn to develop that thick skin. But again, it is so worth it. So if you're thinking about it, if you have a desire to help those people and you like Google's products, get on to top contributors. What is it? Top contributors, top.co or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But the thing that I like too is especially if you're a person that likes helping people, perfect venue for you. I mean, seriously, I get on, answer about 5-10 questions in about 4 or 5 different forums when I have time. That's the other thing. There's no set. Nobody's holding you accountable to anything. Just go in there and help out whenever you can. That's one of the things I really love. That's why I do. That's why you guys do what you do, helping people on Fridays. I help them on Wednesdays doing these shows, and that's the kind of thing. I like to have every other Wednesday or every few Wednesdays having top contributors in here and doing this, because it gets you guys exposed, and that's what I'm doing tonight. So there you go. Take it away.
So yeah, I absolutely love it. So everybody knows that I have a Google technology problem. I have
That's called understatement of the century.
I believe the business we refer to that as an addiction.
It's not an addiction. I can quit every time. I wish you all could see
quit.
like the sheer volume of boxes that are to my immediate left. Like he has literally every
hold
Google
on
picture,
just because it's
Google
fun.
box ever.
Google Home,
Yeah.
Google Pixel 2 XL, regular Pixel,
I love it.
Home, Nest, On Hub, a Home Mini, a Chromecast, another Home Mini. You get the gist.
Yeah.
I really like Google's products. I am overwhelmingly excited about the fact that they have these products, a full made by Google suite.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I want to get out of the way is like this I have these Pixel Buds right here, right?
And these you're gonna go there.
I'm going there.
Okay,
Michael, I'm going there on your show. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I'm going to soapbox this because people say that these things are bad, and I don't see it. John, I'm going to butcher John's name. Baudre is what Google Assistant calls him on my buds. John made a really wonderful post today on Google Plus. If you go to my profile on Google Plus and talk about it, it's a really long read, but he goes into pretty exquisite detail on a lot of the different features about the buds themselves. The Pixel Buds aren't perfect. I'm not going to pretend that they are perfect, but they are not as bad as those reviewers are saying. As a matter of fact, I would argue that those reviewers are too lazy to even get it right. There's one particular one that is flat out just lazy, didn't get it right factually.
There's a couple of reviews that we've seen now that are just factually inaccurate, like all the ones that talk about like connectivity to other platforms. Like so keep in mind, like I'm the hardcore tech head of the two of us.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got my pair, my immediate thought was like, okay, what works and what doesn't, and to what degree? Because that was one of the big complaints we had when we tested out the AirPods. So yeah, immediately it's like, what can we pair to? What works? How does it work? How well does it work? To what extent does it work? And I straight up do not understand the criticism that's been leveled at the Pixel Buds for the connectivity. It doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, it's factually inaccurate.
Yeah.
So
that's the big thing is like, I don't mind the bad reviews. Quite honestly, The Verge, also known as iVerge in some situations. So you kind of get the general gist that they're going to be leaning a little bit heavy towards Apple. Quite honestly, they were pretty fair. They were pretty fair. Like some of the things that they had talked about to me didn't bother me. I think the cord thing is, the cord's not perfect. I wish it were a little bit longer, but people talking about, oh, the fabric hurt my neck and blah, blah, blah.
Look, it's subjective.
I mean, that's subjective. The fabric didn't hurt my neck. I like the fabric. I like the fact that I could just dangle them around my neck and be done with it. That's great for me. That doesn't work for everybody. You know, people were talking about how they were up in arms that everything's going away the way of true wireless. I can tell you that that's not true. One of the most popular brands of headphones, the Jaybird brand, have wonderful reviews. They are one of the best performing wireless earbuds that you have. They're not truly wireless. They have a cord between the two, and those things sell like gangbusters. Bose is the same way. This is the very first year that both Bose and I think Jaybird's coming out with their own have went to a truly wireless, and guess what? They didn't score as well as those other ones. So the Pixel Buds, honestly, I think part of the reason is it is really the type of person going after a Google product versus an Apple product.
Yeah.
So it's not so much a Pixel Buds problem. It's the demographic is just a very different demographic.
Right. And I'll be honest with you, your review, you did a great job with it too, because you explained all the different, every little part. I mean, every part that was good, every part that you know, whatever you, and I actually added that into our comments so people could go look at it. I appreciate
that. Thank you very much.
No, that's all right. I just added it in there because it's a great review. That was a really good one. And I've seen a bunch of them too. I agree with you. People don't give things a chance.
Yeah.
They don't give things a chance. So I get what you're saying totally.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing, almost to a T. I bet from a couple weeks from now, what's going to end up happening is other reviewers are going to be like, oh, I'm just going to take these Pixel Buds again and re-review them. And it'll be the same situation with the whole blue shift and image burn-in, and the Pixel 2 XL is hot trash, and oh my God, it's, you know, ScreenGate or whatever it was for Google.
It's just it's looking for like the most minute details to just pick apart a problem. Like fairly or otherwise. Like there's legitimate criticism I feel like you can level at not only the Pixel Buds, like I've made no bones about it. Like I prefer the design from just the pure aesthetic value, the design of the AirPods over the Pixel Buds. But I mean, first of all, that's subjective. I mean, there's no sense in even trying to pitch that as an objective viewpoint. But you know, the Pixel Buds functionally work better on the Android platform than the AirPods do. So it's like, you want pretty versus function, like literally form over function. It makes no sense to me. So,
right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed in some of those reviews that are out there.
What's even better is now that you've had yours for about a week-ish.
I think so, yeah. About that. I had to charge them for the first time.
Yeah, right?
Think about that. I had to charge my headphones for the first time in a week. And I use mine a lot.
That's pretty cool.
And that's the most interesting thing about the Pixel Buds is like it has 24 hours of battery life in this tiny case and 5 hours of battery life in the buds themselves.
Yeah.
But if you start to talk about real world time, let's talk about that, because my real world time with my Pixel Buds is very different, because I might have 20 minutes of walk time from my car to the office, and then I have meetings or whatever, so they're in and out of my ears. Probably 60 minutes maybe during the day. But the thing is then I pop them back in the case because I don't want to lose them.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're always fully charged when they come out.
That's nice.
I have never, like to date, I've never run out of battery with the Pixel Buds. So from a real world time, they're absolutely outstanding. They get really loud. Now, again, these are earbuds. So one of the things I want to say is if you're an audiophile and you want the whole like immersion where you have, what did I call it? The goat, the transcendent music goat, where you're like the goat's going,
I believe you called it a sheep, which I understood even less. Goat,
whatever that is.
Transcendent music
doesn't matter.
Various sheep thing.
Yeah, no, right? Doesn't matter what earbuds you're going to use. Earbuds are not going to give you that. No earbud's going to give you that.
Yeah,
because that's not the point. That is not the use case for earbuds. And the Pixel Buds, they work as exactly as intended. They are great sound. They are great battery life. You can take phone calls with them.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, there's a very interesting video that Batman is working on that is probably, in my opinion, there is no one talking about the fact what he's going to bring up in a video.
That should be coming out this Sunday too.
Yeah. So
back soon.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting because it also flies directly in the face of, I can't pair them to my MacBook and I can't do this. Oh, no. No, not only can you, but let me tell you why you're wrong on a variety.
Let me ask this. Okay, so I know you say it has a cord. Just so the viewers are not confused, nobody's really saying this, but this is you still don't plug it in anywhere. It's still Bluetooth only.
Oh yeah, it's still Bluetooth only.
Right. I just want to make sure that's very clear, so anybody that's listening to this, you don't plug them in.
No, you don't. The only thing that you do to plug them in terms of the traditional plug-in on the back here, and of course you can't really see it very well, but I'll hold it up anyway.
Right.
It's USB Type-C, which by the way is absolutely brilliant because I have a Pixel, and so I just unplug my Pixel and plug these in, which like Greg, I charged it once, and within I charged it overnight, didn't think much about it, and then be done with it. But yeah, in terms of the case or the cord, I mean, this is it. This is all there is to it. It's so awesome. The cord. Don't cut it, for the love of God. Don't cut it.
Unlike I can't remember who suggested, but there's literally an article that was, or one of the reviews that came out that was like, yeah, well, if you don't like the cord, you can just cut it. Don't do that. And again, like, just factually, verifiably wrong.
Yeah, it is needed for power supply. So do not cut the cord. So they're right now, in my opinion, they're getting a bad rep. I think the Pixel Buds. You got to remember, this is generation 1.
Yeah.
From a generation 1 product, I think they've really hit it right where they need to. Is it a home run? I wouldn't say it's a home run, but boy, it's at least a 2-bagger. At least. It's at least a double.
Really?
You don't think it's more than
I would give it a triple, honestly.
Okay. I was being a little humble for Google.
No, I mean, like raw features that they have. The sound profile, again, gets a bad rap because
it doesn't seal. But
so not only
it's on purpose.
It doesn't seal, right? So it's not a truly like ear canal sealing. It just kind of sits in your ears, much like the AirPods. But like, I love Google, I really do. But they don't do themselves any favors when they kind of try and play tricks in like throw things in behind the scenes without telling you. So apparently there's some There's some automatic equalization that happens depending on the type of music that you're listening to. So again, when you're looking at some of these reviews, keep in mind that the type of music that they're listening to, the way that they're listening to the music, the application that they're using to listen to music may or may not have different levels of this automatic equalization. So that's going to change the already subjective feel that people have for how the music sounds.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I like any sound quality discussion, I pretty much just throw out because you just don't know. Short of going back and listening to the exact tracks on the exact applications that all of these reviewers are talking about, it's just so hard to compare apples to apples. And I really wish Google would make a bigger deal of the fact that they do play equalization things, because I think that's important. I think that's a usable, awesome feature, but they're trying to make the Pixel Buds sound better than what they might already sound, and getting caught for it.
And if you really want to know what that sound like, they really do this, and basically live machine learning, artificial intelligence in your ears on the fly. If you really want to know what it sounds like without the equalization, go into, I'm assuming that we're all using Google Play Music. Let's just call it what it is.
You now have my attention because I'm.
You don't know this?
I don't know.
This. Okay,
I'm
gonna drop some knowledge on you real quick.
Learn me.
I'm learning me. Obi-Wan Kenobi. You gonna learn today? So if you go in, put your Pixel Buds in, turn on a song, whatever song you want, doesn't matter. What you can do is go into your equalization. When you go to your settings, equalization, your Google Music, turn it on.
Turn on equalization?
Turn on equalization. But you got to do it when they're in.
Okay.
So when they're in, turn on equalization. And all of a sudden, that song sounds whoa different.
Okay.
Whoa different.
I am
substantially less loud, substantially less depth.
I am going to play with that.
It is a very interesting feature. So, yeah.
Hey, let's move on to one of the phones, Pixel 2 and that kind of stuff, because I know I have a Pixel and we're going to get in, and I know a lot of people are getting Pixel 2. Some people have upgraded to Pixel 2. Some people are thinking about getting Pixel 2s and things like that. Give me your opinions, what you think of both and all that kind of stuff, and some of the feedback you've heard, because I'm sure you've heard a bunch. Maybe not, but maybe I think you have. Go ahead.
From what I've been told, we're frozen.
Oh yeah, I know. It froze up for a little bit. Like I said,
okay,
folks.
So we're unfrozen. Okay, and now we're yay. Okay, Ben just pinged me. That's the only reason I
know we're laggy, and trust me, folks, I'm trying to keep up, and I appreciate your comments. I put those up on screen real quick just so everybody can kind of see those. But yeah, I started out laggy. I'm ending up laggy. Whatever. You can probably still hear us though, so that's the thing.
Yeah, no, we're good. I just want to make sure. So let me ask, out of the audience right now, is there anybody that has a? I know, right? So no, this is specifically for Michael's show. Is there anybody that right now has a Pixel 2, the smaller version? Michael, do you have one?
No, I have just a Pixel XL, the original, and I'm not making a move for a while.
Okay, if there is anybody right now that has a Pixel 2, the smaller version, let me know. We have phone cases. Or you could have somebody that has an iPhone 8 or an iPhone 10. If you have anybody that has that, let me know. Phone cases for your subscribers. Let me know.
Nice. Thank you.
So,
appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, from a Pixel perspective, the screen issue, totally overblown. So we'll get to the Pixel XL in a minute, but the Pixel 2, the smaller version, so that phone is gorgeous. It just has really big foreheads and chins, which I've never had an issue with the forehead and chin thing. Like, people blow that way out of proportion, in my opinion. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is, right? The cool thing about that is the fact that it has dual stereo speakers. That makes up for the chin, in my opinion.
On
the smaller version.
Oh no, the
smaller
the
Pixel 2.
I got you.
Yeah. So I really like that. The cool thing about that is this year they did away with the differences between the smaller and the larger. They got some flack from that from last year. Honestly, it was kind of rightfully so. They really should have kept the same sensors and things like that, which is great. But the big thing is that amazing camera, the one that beat the iPhone 10 with a 98 score on the DxO mark. That's huge. In both phones, and that is amazing.
That's huge.
That is absolutely astonishing. That camera on that phone is legit. super legit, so legit. In fact, there's places like Moment lenses that are coming out with specific camera kits to take that already really good camera and make it that much better. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to be doing a video where we talk about how you can film your entire YouTube career with a phone. Which is 4 years ago, you would not have even thought about that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true.
You would have potato quality video at best.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, now you've got phones that are, this is going to be heresy, but for your novice DSLR user, at least approaching the quality that you can get out of those. Now, granted, much more narrow use case and all that jazz. But,
yeah.
I mean, you would be hard pressed to tell the difference between my wife's DSLR and something like your Pixel 2 XL camera.
Yeah.
And that camera legitimately takes gorgeous pictures.
And
it
Scott, you had the Pixel, just the original Pixel, right? Or Pixel XL?
I did, yeah.
I had the Pixel XL, and that thing still takes amazing
right.
photos.
See, that's what I thought. I mean, that's one of the things to me. Could it be that much more better in the second?
Well,
Pixel,
to be clear,
too.
you've got both of them. You had the original Pixel,
Okay.
or the Pixel XL, and now you have the Pixel 2 XL.
Yeah, so that's the really interesting thing is like there actually is. We did a video.
Okay.
I did a video a few weeks back where I talk about is it really worth the upgrade
Right.
in terms of the comparison, and it honestly it really depends on kind of liquidity in terms of do you have liquid cash on hand to do that.
I got you.
If you're talking like if you're a person who takes tremendous amount of selfies and are in the selfie game for things like that, boy, that portrait mode on the Pixel 2
really
XL
good.
is still the best. Like if you ask
Really?
any YouTuber out there, any Android Central, I can't remember the guy's name.
Good to know.
I want to say it's Russ. Like flat out, it is the best portrait mode. And the most interesting part about that is the portrait on the front and the back part of the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL. That honing is not dual lenses. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's
That's
a single.
crazy. That's crazy.
And it's all machine learning and artificial intelligence.
And we have tested back to back with the newest generation of iPhones, and I mean, even with the iPhone 10 or iPhone X, whatever you want to call it, the Pixel 2 XL beats it. And
it's amazing.
And this was like double blind taste test.
We're licking the phones.
Yeah.
There's
It's
that
like
barbecue ribs again. There you go. You guys got it. You guys got it on your mind. You know it's coming in less than 12 hours. So you guys are salivating. You're salivating over it.
But yeah, so double blind, just looking at both pictures, like which one do you prefer, which one looks better, and the Pixel 2 XL was able to do less like edge blurring. So like, for example, Scott's hair, a little spiky, right? So if you took the picture with the Pixel 2 XL, it would be able to capture all the detail of the hair and then literally blur like along the profile line of his face. The iPhones wouldn't. The iPhones would still blur a portion of his head, which I thought was really interesting, or not blur a portion of the background. And I thought that the iPhone, the newest version of the iPhone portrait mode was a little bit closer to the like original Pixel or the Nexus 6P, which is what I have. That version of what is it called in that one? The blur or something.
Yeah, lens blur.
Lens blur. It was closer to that feature than it was the real portrait mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're looking for a solid, like just take a random picture and make that random picture of yourself look shockingly good, Pixel 2 XL. I mean, no question.
It's good enough. We're talking about like people are taking photos selfie style out in the sun and putting it on their LinkedIn as their professional image.
I can totally see that. I can absolutely see
I mean, it is no question. Like these are professional level photography. And it's just people who have a cell phone and just happen to be dressed up from the waist up.
Yeah.
It's just that good.
That's great to know because, because I have the Pixel XL original one and I couldn't, I'm glad I'm hearing you say this because I want to know whether it's worth it to move up to that. What I was waiting for is if my battery starts dying quick all the time and all that kind of stuff, but it hasn't. My Pixel XL has done amazingly for me, and it's done a lot of good things. So that's why I wanted to hear from you guys directly, what your response is. And this is good. This is great feedback because I do like really good pictures. I have a brand new grandbaby that I just had June 23rd.
Yeah.
So that's huge to me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But
it honestly, those types of photos, the Pixel 2 is so good on those photos. We each have 3 young kids running around,
right?
And it is important to take those photos very, very quickly.
Right.
The idea is like the Pixel 2 really does lend its ability to do that. Don't get me wrong, the Pixel XL does that. You hinted on the battery life. Boy, if you get good battery life out of your Pixel XL, you've got probably double the battery life with the Pixel 2 XL, at least double. Because
really? Oh my God, that's incredible.
I am a massive user. I am an extremely heavy user. Many tens of gigs per month in data,
right.
And that doesn't count the Wi-Fi's. That counts the old school like AT&T style. Yeah. So I am a very heavy user, and
that's great to know too.
I can go all day in terms of a battery life perspective on the Pixel 2 XL, whereas I would be charging by 12:30 with the Pixel XL.
In the afternoon?
I'm not charging. Yes, I'm not charging until the nighttime. So, like, if you can get through all day with your Pixel XL, your Pixel 2 XL, you're talking about probably days worth of battery.
Wow,
and I'm not
that's crazy. Because I can get till about 8 o'clock at night, no problem.
I make it just after lunch.
And that's watching YouTube videos. That's everything. Just streaming all kinds of stuff. And again, I do use a lot of Wi-Fi too. But I mean.
Right.
But still, it's usage. So I've been very happy with the one I got, but I'm going to tell you, if it's like that, I mean, you're really intriguing me here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Google, you can make the checkout.
Yeah, right. Google ain't sending us a check. They ain't sending us nothing. But I mean, I'm as big a fanboy as you can get, and I absolutely love my Pixel 2 XL. It's the best phone that I've ever had. And I'm not even talking about, let's get this out of the way. Is there blue shift? Yeah, there's blue shift. Is it a big deal? No.
It's also on the iPhone 8.
Explain to people, though, what you're talking about when you say blue. Some people don't know what that is or haven't heard what that is. Tell them what that means. I just like to make sure that everybody knows.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So basically a blue shift perspective is put a white image on your phone and basically tip it up or tip it down or tip it to the side, each side. So when you start to tip it on that white image, the white doesn't stay the traditional white. It has a bit of a bluish hue to it. Now, the Pixel 2 XL does have that. That's just one of them. It's not I have a defective device. Mm-hmm. They all have it because an OLED display, which is the display that's on the Pixel 2, that's just how they're manufactured. Mm-hmm. That's just the way that it is. It's the same way, like Greg was talking about, the iPhone 10 is an OLED display. It doesn't have as bad of a blue shift, air quotes with the bad, but it still exists. So it's just one of those situations where the whites don't stay the white. It's because of the way that they're manufactured. And that's just the way that it is.
And by the way, that's going to be the case with every OLED screen. Yeah. Every OLED screen is going to share kind of the same things that the Pixel 2 XL has been beat up for. One of them being the blue shift. Now, there's better and worse quality of OLED displays, and you can probably argue that the reason that it's to a lesser extent on the iPhone is maybe they have a better panel in there. I think the last rumor I saw is that they have Samsung panels, and Samsung traditionally makes really good displays. So be that as it may. But then the other one is the screen burn-in, which was the other issue that we saw a lot of too. Mm-hmm. There is no screen burn-in. It's basically impossible to burn in an image on a screen. What you're dealing with is this thing called image retention, which is the exact same thing that you see on the iPhone. Or again, any phone that has an OLED display. Yep. It's not permanent damage. You'll just see a little bit of ghosting of a previous image that you might have up there, and
but it goes away. It just eventually goes away.
That's more of the whole
and probably it's not really a big deal. I mean, as a phone user, that's probably not a big deal. I mean, they're making more out of it than it needs to be made, I think.
Yeah, and that's our frustration with this generation of hardware. It's like it seems like everybody that's doing reviews is like you're nitpicking it without really taking the time to discuss the whys. Like let's apply some logic to why this is happening.
Yeah, good point, Greg.
This is the big thing where we talked about the demographic is, I mean, be that as it may, an iPhone user is just not looking for those.
Start some fights.
No, an iPhone user is just not looking for that type of. They're not looking for that type of thing.
They want it to just work.
They want it to just work. I guess it's the truth, but there's a reason why this stereotype tends to exist, that Android users are typically people who like to tinker and do things like that. We notice these things, whereas an iPhone user just doesn't, because they just don't look for that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's okay on both sense, but I think that the Android folks, the reviewers that have just been going completely bananas, they've got to step back and go, wait a minute. We don't talk about this stuff from an iPhone perspective because it doesn't matter. Mark brings up a good point. iPhone users rave about their phones. I'm finally excited that we have phones to rave about.
That's true.
Like
Amen.
Samsung, right?
Yeah.
It's not Samsung. This is
Amen. Amen.
Right. It's just a situation where, like, I have a company that I love in Google finally making a device that, boy, I love the device too. Let's not forget the fact that they're also going on more above and beyond what Apple's doing. Yeah. Not only are you getting things around about, like, I have a better camera, processor in the Apple and the iPhone X's. Depends on who you ask. Yeah, we'll get. It
appears to be misleading, but
shocker. It appears to be misleading. Who knew? Anyway, I'm getting all these great features in an Android phone. Oh, and by the way, remember those photos that you take? You want to take a copious amount of photos.
That's right.
You have unlimited storage.
Yeah.
And let me say, that's not cheap for Google, I would imagine. I cannot envision how, even at Google size, that's cheap.
I mean, so
I just can't see
here's where you and I start to disagree, because, like, I get where you're coming from. If you have a bunch of people that are on Android and they're all uploading a metric truckload of pictures, then it's got to cost them some type of money. But the thing is, storage is fairly cheap. Like, at the enterprise scale, at Google scale, storage is really cheap. So,
but it's costing them more than what it was.
For sure. Oh, absolutely.
That's what I mean.
But I think fundamentally what it boils down to is, if Google's willing to make a device that is at least a competitor with the iPhone, and then they're willing to back that device, a quality device, like a flagship, level model, and they're willing to back that with software and services that allow them to stand out above whatever Apple has to offer, that's a game-winning business plan. Like, that's going to win 9.5 times out of 10, I feel like. Discounting, of course, the hardcore fanboys. And again, like, my wife is a big Apple fan, so I get the people that are all into Apple.
Yeah, my wife, my kids.
Because the whole environment that just works together, I get it. You're never going to win those people over.
No, you're not. All right, hey, 35. We're 35 minutes in. I got about 10 more minutes or so. Why don't we talk about the Pixel book? Can we touch on that a little bit?
Absolutely. Right. Oh my God, the Pixel book. There is somebody in this crowd that randomly sent a Pixel book to us to review. It is his Pixel book. We are reviewing it. He didn't give it to us or anything like that. He will get shout outs like mega crazy. Let's say his name rhymes with Menjamin. And wow. Did I say that?
Way to be subtle.
I know, right?
That's funny.
Number two, let's just take a moment to talk about how much we love you. Because whoa.
Yes, Menjamin.
Yes. Or if that is your real name.
Right. So the Pixel book really surprised me when I saw it. I was
not expecting hardware of that quality.
I was not.
Wow.
So we both have MacBook Pros, mostly because, honestly, that we edit videos and that requires that bandwidth, that power. And the thinness, the overwhelming thinness out of the Pixel book, I have absolutely no idea where they put the power, the horsepower of the machine in it. And it's like that thin. We're talking about, if you look at a MacBook Pro, they're not unthin.
They're a little bit over a half-inch thick, right? So I think it's like 0.6 something or another inches.
Right. So we're not talking about a lot of space.
Right.
But boy, that Pixel book jammed a tremendous amount of power. We are talking about MacBook Pro level hardware.
Yeah.
In a Chromebook. And a lot of people are rolling their eyes going, oh, well, come on. What do you need that kind of power for just a browser? For just a browser.
Come on, Google. Help me with this, man.
But you know what? What's interesting, I was in Best Buy, and you can actually download. They have a hard drive that you can download to. It's interesting. There was Excel files and stuff like that. Now, can you download an executable file? Probably not. Probably what you're looking for to do that. And I get that. But I know you guys are antsy about it, but I think they're gradually kind of seeing that there's gonna just have to be some software, like you said, like editing software or something that you're able to do that. Because you just can't get that from any web version. You just can't. You can't get the quality.
So that's the big thing. What you see is, like, so Adobe Lightroom, for example, they have made an app Android apps. So the nice thing about the Pixelbook is it runs Android apps natively, which is great. That helps a ton. So there's a lot of things that you can do in that. Let's just get it out of the way. Does it do like Word and Excel and things like that? Yeah, because Microsoft has taken the time to develop those apps.
Also, Google Docs. I mean,
well, I mean, let's right. I know, but people will get caught up traditionally in the well, I like to have Microsoft Excel because my work says so, and I can't do any of that stuff in Google Docs. Okay, fine. Let's take that outside, but whatever. And people argue that, but whatever. It's because people like the way.
I feel like those arguments are pretty played though. It's got to come down to like applications that are really big differentiators.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Once we get okay, so all the Microsoft stuff aside, that all works. Got it. Bingo. Got it. So now we're getting into the things like Adobe Lightroom. I want to edit photos on it, right? Okay. Well, now I can do that. Team that up with the Pixelbook Pencil. Is it the Pixel Pencil?
Pixel Pencil?
Pixel Pencil? The Pixel?
Weird.
Wow. That was weird. Okay, anyway. Get out of my head, bro. No. Anyway, so the amount of edits that you can do with that is insane. And now we're going to do Adobe Lightroom, okay? Yeah. So Greg and I are probably not necessarily the best people because we do video editing, which right now the Pixelbook can't do.
Right.
So that aside, take us, the creator side out of it, but you get into like the photographers, the people who do things like I need Microsoft Access, that Office, all those things.
Pixel Pen.
Oh, okay, thank you, Andrew.
Pixel
Pen. I knew Android would come through in the clutch. All of that stuff, the Chromebook can do.
Yeah.
It can do today.
Yeah.
All of that. Run Android apps, all of the stuff that you possibly need it to do. Team that up with the fact that the Pixel Pen is absolutely one of the best things that they could have ever done.
I couldn't get over how fast it was. How it worked and I tried to feather, using it and stuff like that. And that was amazing to me. We got to, Scott, you and I got to test one, like all that stuff where they were over there testing that kind of stuff. So we were able to use it. That was so amazing to see. So I agree.
I haven't even played with it yet.
And but the thing is, like, it's the attention to details, like the feathering. But the idea is, like, we're talking about pixels, like individual pixels.
That's right.
That it was allowing me to get to.
Yeah.
And you can do that. Not to mention the fact like the assistant is all baked in. Google's going AI first. It's not really a shocker, right? So you can press a button on top of the Pixel Pen, circle something on the screen, and then pow, the assistant pops out to the side.
That's awesome.
Maybe it's a situation where you're like, oh, I need to remember this for my calendar.
Yeah. That is
circle
so awesome.
it. It's so sick. Like it
so
works.
Awesome.
It works exactly as intended.
That sounds like great integration that they have.
I know, right? If only somebody would make a video about it.
Oh, please. Please. That's going to happen. I mean,
but the thing is, it's like, it's what the Apple Pencil should be doing for Apple, but it's not. Like,
no, it's not.
It's
and
not.
You have an Apple Pencil.
I do.
You have an Apple
I
Pencil.
have an Apple Pencil.
Apple
Pencil.
Pencil.
I have an Apple Pencil right here.
And the Apple or the iPad Pro.
And it works.
It's neat.
It's neat and it works. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Based on just the few amount of moments that I have played with the Pixelbook, I'm picking a Pixelbook over an iPad Pro 100% of the time. And I really like the iPad Pro. Don't get me wrong.
That's a big
this
deal.
Is a great piece of machinery.
Yeah,
it really is. But boy, that Pixelbook, I'm gonna tell you what, that is one of the best pieces of hardware. Whoa, underrated. I mean, you got big tech people coming out going like, MKBHD, huge tech guy, coming out saying like, I mean, it's like $1,000, and I'm really like wondering about it. But boy, do I really like it! It's so nice.
I feel like the only criticism you can really level at the Pixelbook is the fact that you brought it up. Like we talked about it during the announcement for it. It's like driving a Lamborghini to the grocery store at this point, because there's just not much of a need in the Android universe for that much horsepower. So I'm super interested to see what Google is going to do.
It's so funny that you say that, because I guarantee you, after you open that box, that changes your mind.
Really?
I bet you $5. You see it here right now, live on the show, making a bet. $5. You will not be able to make that comment after you play with that.
I'm actually no. So keep in mind, to your point, I've never even touched a Pixelbook. You guys have had more hands-on time with it than I have.
Yeah.
And I'm a crazy person for hardware. So I see the box out of the corner of my eye, and I can't wait to take it home and play with it. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to bed before 2 a.m. Guaranteed.
Oh yeah, not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that piece of machine over there has the ability to run Linux, and you're a Linux guy.
Yeah.
So I know for sure, like the ability, it has more than enough horsepower than what you need.
Yeah.
And I am willing to bet that when you get a chance to mess with that, you'll say like, okay, wait a minute. Now that I know, because it has the full suite of Android apps, the full suite, which is stupid awesome. It is really great.
I want to be converted.
The idea that I know that I can get any Android app as well as do all of the things that I need from a business perspective. I'll tell you this right now, if it had the ability to give me any editing software from a video perspective that's anything close to what I have in Final Cut Pro, I would immediately sell my MacBook Pro and buy two.
Yeah.
I think they're that good.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Without question.
Well, that's awesome. This is good stuff, guys. We're getting really close here to wrapping up on this.
You'll say you take over, man.
Well, I mean, I knew you guys would love it. I mean, I knew you guys would sit there and go on, and you know what? You helped me with some stuff and helped me fill in some blanks that I had, so that's a good thing.
Awesome.
I'm definitely. Are you guys doing anything Black Friday? Are y'all still having a show and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we're gonna do a show Friday.
Show, yes, but we're not doing anything else for Black Friday.
I'm not doing any shopping. No,
that's dumb.
I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I'm just talking about your show, because I want to make sure and watch your show, because I got plenty of time, got nothing going on, so I definitely want to.
Awesome.
I want to watch it, and I'll be out there leaving comments.
Let me go ahead and tell you this much: if you got any topics you want to talk about, throw them at us, because right now we ain't got any topics.
Carry over this show and go keep on Pixel, because I'm gonna tell you what, Pixel Book, and maybe you guys, if after playing with it a little bit and all that kind of stuff, you can bring it out and
do it.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Bring it on the show.
Yeah.
All right, Friday we're bringing it on the show.
All right, good. Yeah, then I'm definitely watching. I'm sure some of these others will do the same thing. One thing that I like.
Benjamin can tune in to see his Pixel.
Benjamin.
Whoever that is, that's right. One thing that I really like, and one thing that I like that Google does and starting to do more, Assistant is now becoming part of every single platform that they use, whether it's Home, Mini, your phone, your tablet, your Chromebook, your anything, your TVs. I mean everything. Chromecast is even being able to use Assist now, and they're coming out with soon. I mean, so to me, that right there in itself says a lot to it that other things can't do. Just like you said, by circling something on screen and having the assistant help you out with information. That's the kind of stuff. After all, that's what Google is. It's information. It's not necessarily search. Everybody thought it was just a search engine, but it's getting the information out to everyone. And I think that's one of the biggest things. And every platform, every focus they take, that's the ultimate thing.
Yep.
So
it's really interesting that you bring that up. They are definitely an AI focused company, and that assistant is really the engine driving all of that. And it's getting really good. The natural language processing is better than humans in a lot of instances.
That's right.
That's scoring a lot higher. Not to mention it has the ability to understand context, which Siri and Cortana and Alexa just don't.
That's a key differentiator too.
That's a big deal.
It is. It makes a huge difference, because especially for people, because then anybody can use it. I mean, like you said, like I told you. I mean, I know you mentioned your wife is an iPhone person. So is my wife. But I'm telling you what, the more this stuff with the home, and she's using it, and we're adding stuff to the grocery list, the more stuff that's, like you said, contextual, where you can just, you just use it. Your calendar, her calendar, that kind of thing. I'm gonna tell you that it's getting better and better.
My kids love it. My kids love it.
I know.
We play games at dinner time.
I know.
It's crazy.
His kids have accidentally converted my kids into Google Home lovers. They just expect when they get home that Daddy has all the stuff that will do the same thing that Scott has. I'm like, I don't have it, man.
I love it. Hey, look, I got to wrap up the show. We got to get going. But hey, listen, you guys are going to stick around for a little bit, right? Because we're going to have our people that are members of our community, folks. I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and then we'll run the ending credits. But I wanted to let everybody know. Look, we have a community, a Google Plus community, where we get in, and it is a paid-for community, $10 a month. Join the community. You can come in and after show, and then also sometimes we do a workshop where we go over stuff just like this, and we talk for hours. It's going in conversational, and you learn stuff, and you get things that way. So I really do appreciate it. I want to thank you one last time, you two. Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having us, man. We're having a blast.
I really do appreciate it. Maybe one day I can reciprocate and come on your show. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we're already talking about it.
I would love to do that too. I mean, just if I can help you out with anything or anything that I know that I doubt there's anything I know that you don't. But I mean, I would love to do it just because you know what? If we can get both audiences moving back and forth. Absolutely. All it is more people knowing more people and stuff.
It's one big happy family, man.
That's what we want, man.
All right, good. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
thanks y'all.
Folks, thank you out there. Everybody that showed up tonight, thank you. I'm not going to go through everybody's name, but I'm going to run the closing credits now. And folks, join us. I will put it in the community. I will put the link so you can join us in here. Thank you.